Hey everybody, John here, back from the esports department, doing the LPL LCK slate for tonight. Just a quick caveat with this one in particular. The contractors are going to come to my house pretty soon. They're going to make it so I can't record a video for a very long time from now. So I don't have the LPL lineups officially yet. These teams are not teams that I think are really likely to sub, but do check back later and see if there has been substitutions for any of these teams beyond what I have in the video, which is the projections that are on the website right now. If they do sub, there won't be a major change most likely in the projections. There's only one spot where there's a sub that could change his projection a little bit. I think that's the top lane for DMO. If Natural comes back, it might increase the top lane projection for DMO a decent amount. The other subs I don't think are likely to matter too much. We'll see whether Zubin continues to play for DMO, Khan versus Gimgoon. There's not a ton of opportunities for subs on this slate that are even remotely likely. So I decided to just go ahead and make the video so that I can get it done. Do check back at the projections later. The information in the video should be accurate pretty much regardless. It could maybe change like one position in comparative matchups, but it shouldn't be anything but very close to what's accurate. There's only a few possible things they could change, and I don't think most of them would change by much. So we'll start with DMO at plus 365. They're 0-5 on the season against Suning minus 600. They're 3-3 on the season. So not a super intriguing matchup just because DMO is so bad. They are 0-10 on the season so far, as you can see from KPW. They have no wins. They don't even have a game win to look at. So, I mean, Suning's a rightful huge favorite. They lead in all the stats, 1764 to 1627, minus 361 gold per minute for DMO, where Suning is positive. Comparable first blood and first turret rates, but gold difference at 15, minus 1710 for DMO, plus 428 for Suning. So Suning is likely to get a lead very early and continue that lead forward. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be a really intriguing series. The damage per minute, 1966 for Suning, 1708 for DMO, so another huge advantage there. And the one thing that I would point out about this matchup as being a little bit interesting is Suning has a very, very low KPW for the LPL, 13.7. And even 16.7 as a DPL is not really that bloody for the LPL. Those are both pretty low numbers for the LPL. DMO's death per loss at 18.7 is pretty high. So it makes it comparatively a little bit more interesting because Suning, it looks like a team that maybe in the future, if the stats continue to trend this way, they might be the kind of team we want to just generally avoid and not be involved in their matchups where we can help it. But DMO looks like a team that you want to target. They're losing every game and they're giving up a lot of deaths when they die. It's a great team to be targeting against. So Suning, a good target on this slate. In the future, we might keep our eye on Suning because those stats are not really like the kind of team you want to be involved with in the LPL. A much more intriguing matchup second up, FPX against E-Star. So FPX just having lost to Invictus in a close series that was interesting and fun. They are a minus 315 favorite. Excuse me. They're a minus 315 favorite. E-Star's plus 220. But if you look at these stats, it's one of those spots again, man. Gold per minute for E-Star is higher. Gold differential is higher. The first blood and first turret are just kind of reversed. E-Star getting first turret more often. FPX getting first blood more often. The gold differential at 15 is 36 for FPX and 577 for E-Star. Damage per minute, very comparable. Worth noting, though, that the KPWs and DPLs for this series are pretty high. 18, just under 18, 22 in death per loss for FPX, 16 even in wins. 16 is a little on the lower side, but these other three numbers are all pretty high. And this seems like a really high target series. As far as who's going to win? I think it's a really close series. I think in the top lane, you get Xiaobai versus Khan. They play different types of champions. I think Khan is probably the better player overall, but he's going to win the matchup most likely anyway because of the champion pools. Khan leans more towards like carry type champions, or at least more bruiser than straight tank, whereas E-Star Xiaobai I think is better when he's on his tanks. So I think it's a matchup that Khan will probably win, but not a huge edge to FPX. Just the champion pools kind of force it that way. And if anything, I actually really think having a fat top laner right now is kind of important, and it might be better to have, say, Xiaobai on Ornn than Khan on Kale. So I don't think there's a real edge in that position. Wei and Tian are both very, very good. I have no real leans on that one. In the mid lane, Fen versus Doinby. Once again, you're kind of looking at different kinds of players. Doinby, kind of similar to like the ultimate level version of Teacher Ma, just a very supportive mid laner, plays good supportive picks that can help his other lanes succeed. Whereas Fen, I think, is more likely to bust out something that's kind of a lane carry or an assassin, something like that. I think Doinby more likely to play something that helps the team out, so it's hard to kind of rank that lane either. I think Doinby's probably a bigger plus to his team for sure, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to like win the lane or get an edge out of lane. In the bottom lane, probably Wink and Xiaoxi, I think, are playing at least on the level of Crisp and LWX right now. LWX coming off a pretty terrible series against Invictus. I don't rule out that he'll turn it around in this matchup, and it seems like a good spot for it. So these teams just grade out very evenly to me at the moment with how they're playing. Like FPX was clearly the better team last split, but they're not playing at the same level they were last split. And E-Star, they look good. They look pretty good so far at 2 and 3. I think this is a good battle. The stats actually point to E-Star, but I'm going to be targeting this game a lot regardless. Like, a huge percentage of my lineups are going to have FPX or E-Star in them. And I think your leverage there is that Sunning is probably the more popular play, and I think this series grades out to be bloodier. So I'm going to go with heavier FPX and E-Star stuff, I think, and fade a little bit away from the Sunning. I'll still play them, obviously, and I'll definitely play them with both of these teams, but I think I'll be going heavier towards this matchup where I can. Moving over to the LCK. GenG minus 750, they're 2 and 1 on the season, and their opponents are 6 and 3. So they've had a tough schedule, and they're still 2 and 1. Makes sense. Solheim Prince, they are 1 and 2 on the season, plus 425. Their opponents are 4 and 5. So even kind of a weak schedule, still only 1 and 2. This is another team that I don't think is going to be very good this season. They just have shown that they just don't really this lineup, at least at the moment, just doesn't really have it. They don't have the personnel on this lineup. The individual players are just not good enough to compete a lot of the time. We'll look at the stats. GenG 1778 to the 1680 of Solheim Prince, so just advantage there. Goal differential per minute, GenG positive, even though it's just barely at positive 4. Solheim Prince at minus 107. First Blood, First Turret, slight edge in First Bloods to Solheim 1, so they're clearly coming out and trying to get First Blood. If they're 1 and 2 with negative gold differential of 15, but they have an 87% First Blood, they're at least trying to be proactive. They're just not doing a good job of it. Gold differential of 15. Interestingly enough, GenG actually negative. Part of that has to do with the fact that they've had a very hard schedule so far, and they are the kind of team that doesn't mind just picking kind of a scaling comp and getting behind a little bit early, so it doesn't destroy me too much to see them at minus 127, but Solheim Prince minus 688, so still a big advantage to GenG. Damaged to champions per minute, 1728 to 1709, so they're playing roughly the same amount of bloodiness when it comes to attacking champions. Can't clear my throat the last couple days. KPWs and DPLs, actually on the high side for the LCK, 15.4 and 17.2 for GenG, 15.6 and 16.8 for Solheim Prince. Definitely on the high side for the LCK. I don't see much value in being on Solheim 1 here. It's a good chance I won't have any Solheim in my lineups, even though I'm a guy that plays a lot of contrarian, big underdog type plays. I just don't see the value in this one. GenG should win pretty handily. The series grades out to be bloody enough that I might be able to play some GenG and get away with that. But I don't think there's really much value in being on Solheim. I don't see them having an advantage in really any lane. Strategically, draft-wise, pretty much anything they've got going on. I'm not really sure exactly where they would have an advantage over GenG, and none of the stats point that way either. I can't even really see them getting like 2 games out of like an aggressive snowball. They kind of show that they're the kind of team that's trying to do that. They could take a game with an aggressive snowball, but not a lot of value on Solheim 1 for me. Last game of the day, DM1 Gaming minus 260. They are 2-1 on the season, and opponents are 3-6, so kind of an easy schedule, but they're 2-1. KT plus 185. They're 1-2 on the season. Their opponents are 4-5, so a mediocre schedule. But DM1, let's look at these numbers real quick, because I think this is one of the ones that we're going to see that's a little bit different. We've seen a lot of matchups where the underdog actually had better stats, and it was kind of like eye-opening to be like, wow, the underdog actually has better stats here. This is the opposite that we haven't seen very much. With DM1 Gaming being 2-1 and KT being 1-2, their schedules being kind of similar, even though the Vegas odds are skewed, you might be thinking, KT, decent shot here. But the stats tell a story about DM1 Gaming here. 1920 in gold per minute to the 1716 of KT, plus 253 gold differential per minute versus minus 76. 100% first turn for DM1, only 43% first blood, which KT does pip. Gold difference at 15, plus 3130 is Cloud9 numbers. Like their early game dominance is unrivaled, basically. Actually slightly positive for KT, which is a good sign for KT. It doesn't match up well against DM1 here, but it is a positive sign. Damage per minute, 2200 to 1956. So DM1 in pretty much every category actually looks like the best or among the best teams in the LCK. They had a very good series against GenG that they could have won. I definitely think they could have won that series. And it's going to be interesting to see if they fall off at some point, because DM1 is definitely looking like they're going to try to contend for the actual championship here for sure. KT, there's some positive things in their numbers. Like 1716 is not a terrible number in gold per minute. Damage per minute numbers are good. They're actually positive at 15. I like seeing all that. I'm intrigued by the difference in how the KPWs and DPLs line up. For DM1, they kill a lot when they win, and KT dies a lot when they lose. So that makes DM1 a great play. 19.4 and 18 are very, very good numbers, especially for the LCK. Very good. On the other side, though, DM1, only 12 deaths per loss and only 13.3 kills per win for KT. So it is small sample. I think DM1's number will go up. I think probably KT's number will go up when they win more. But it just doesn't look intriguing to play KT as an underdog here, when you can just play DM1 and get the high scores there, or you can fade the matchup if you don't believe in DM1. But KT not super intriguing as far as KPW and DPL goes from an underdog standpoint. Let's look at the favorites real quick. GenG, Suning, DM1, and FPX. And see how the grading out goes. Let me get rid of these people that aren't going to play. And we'll grade by projection. So, top of the list, Suning actually grading out the best. A little bit surprising for me, but it is the top lane. We'll see if that holds true everywhere. DM1 next, followed by FPX. GenG at the bottom there, as we might have expected. FPX at the top in jungle, followed by Suning, then GenG. DM1 actually at the bottom. Canyon not having a high scoring last year and a half or so. In the mid lane, it's Suning again, then FPX, DM1, and GenG. 80 carries, same thing. Suning, FPX, GenG, DM1. Oh, actually, they switched up GenG and DM1 there. Ghost not looking too hot, where Ruler's projecting pretty well. I'm really surprised BDD is lowest and Ruler is not lowest. BDD usually has been very good this season. I would have expected him to be a little higher, and it is really close between him and Showmaker. At support, Suning and FPX again. DM1 and GenG down here. We have kind of discussed that in general the LPL teams always project better and they generally score better as well. The only thing I'll say is some days that gap has been really, really huge. On a day like this, the gap between them and DM1 for the most part has not been immense. I guess it has been in the 5 range in some of these positions. So I think DM1 is playable. if these numbers hold up to be true, I would expect them to have a shot at being optimal, but it looks like you're still getting your points from Sunning and FPX, and actually Sunning grading out the best at 3 out of 5 positions. Is it 4? 2, 3. Yeah, Sunning actually grading out the best at 4 out of 5 positions for the favorites, so they are a good target, especially I think paired with E-Star. It's going to be a pretty popular setup, but let's have a look at the dogs real quick. Looking at the dogs, E-Star, I would expect them to project very well. DMO as well. A pretty reasonably sized drop-off before Solheim 1 and KT. They just don't seem intriguing on this day at all. They're really just an ownership play, I think, if you go with them. Same in the jungle, E-Star and DMO. The Korean team's lagging as far as like 15 points behind right there in expectation. Same here, an 8-point gap. Same setup. Smaller gap, you could try hybrid or even aiming as a shot at 80 carry. And exactly same setup here. So just very uniform in how this goes. It's E-Star followed by DMO, followed by Solheim 1, followed by KT as the lowest expectation team. So, I mean, it just lends itself the way a lot of these slates do towards LPLs. It lends itself to E-Star and Sunning as a combination, or DMO and FPX, or trying to even get Sunning FPX in there. Just really lends itself towards that. I think throwing DAM1 Gaming in could be good, but I'm not sure you're going to get ownership leverage on that necessarily. DAM1 Gaming has been pretty bloody. A lot of people really like them. I wouldn't be super surprised to see them very highly owned. So let's check out cash game lineups. DAM1's minus 260, GenG's minus 750. Sunning is definitely in there. They both project well and are a very large favorite. You could try them with GenG. Gets you a 583 expectation lineup with a top captain. You could try them with DAM1. 596, still a top captain, but it gets you 4 Sunning instead, and I do think DAM1's in a really good spot, and Noguri in particular is in a pretty good spot. So I think I lean towards the DAM1 side. I think they're pretty safe, honestly. If you switched over to FPX, you could get 4 Sunning with a 585 projection. It doesn't even project better, so I don't see much reason to go to FPX since they're sketchier anyway. It really feels to me like Sunning and DAM1 makes the most sense. A 596 projection, a top captain, and top captain works out well since Noguri is the kind of scorer that Noguri is. You do have to play Canyon, which kind of sucks because we saw him being a little bit lower on the expectation, but this still grades out better than playing them with GenG, and they are in a way better matchup than GenG as far as chance to score, as far as them and their chance to score. What happens if you take Sunning out altogether and do GenG and DAM1? You can get a mid lane captain, but it has a 10 less projection. So it seems to me like it's pretty straightforward for me that I'd be looking at Sunning and DAM1 as a cash lineup. Definitely feels correct to me. As far as ownership for the slate, KT and DAM1 Gaming and GenG, Solheim Prince, Sunning, and DMO and FPX and E-Star. Sunning should be number 1 for sure. Easy matchup, team people like in general. I wouldn't be that surprised to see DAM1 Gaming in here, not because people actually want to play DAM1 Gaming, but because the ownership on FPX and E-Star should be split enough that DAM1 might be uniform in how many people are willing to play them. So I think I'm actually going to put DAM1 at number 3, and then I think FPX will be number 4. And I think E-Star will be number 5, or be number 4. Yeah, I think FPX will be number 3, E-Star be number 4. And then GenG probably comes in at 5. Followed by KT, probably DMO actually gets more ownership than Solhei Prince, I would bet. I think people view Solhei about the same way they view DMO, except DMO is in the LPL and people prefer to play LPL teams if they can help it. So it makes sense to me that it would land somewhere like this. This is one of the more confident slates for me as far as ownership. I think this is very likely to be correct. If there's a mistake in here, it's probably right in this area, and it's just swapping these three teams around somewhere. That would be my strong lean. So that's pretty much all for this slate. I think it is an interesting one. There's a lot of ways to go. You can look at pairing Sunning with E-Star. I think is going to be pretty popular for GPPs, but I think it's good. You can try getting DMO with FPX. I think that would have a lot lower ownership, even though it's significantly less likely. You could take a shot on KT with either Sunning or FPX and hope KT pulls it out. The teams to avoid, GenG feels like a team to avoid for me. Solhei 1 Prince, that whole matchup just feels bad. I like to mess around with the other three games and just leave that matchup off my board. If I'm going to play a team, I might mess around with GenG a little bit from that matchup, but I think for the most part I might just avoid that game. The projections are low, and it makes total sense to me from the way the teams play that it's not going to be a super bloody matchup. So I think that's pretty much all for me, guys. As usual, hit me up on the Discord or Twitter or anything like that about any questions. I think this is a fun slate. We should get some enjoyment out of this one, and it leads right into LEC, which I'll be recording later today. So I'll talk to you again later today, guys. Have a good one.